بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد. The author says, Al-Kaba'ir السابعة أكل riba, the seventh major sin, eating from riba. Eating riba. Before we get started, we'll get started, then we'll explain. He says, قال الله تعالى يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وذروا ما بقي من الربا إن كنتم مؤمنين فإن لم تفعلوا فأذنوا بحرب من الله ورسوله الآية. وقال تعالى الذين يأكلون الربا لا يقومون إلا كما يقوم الذي يتخبطه الشيطان من المس إلى قوله ومن عاد فأولئك أصحاب النار هم فيها خالدون. فهذا وعيد عظيم بالخلود في النار، كما ترى لمن عاد إلى الربا بعد الموعظة فلا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. وقال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم اجتنبوا السبع الموبقات. قالوا وما هن يا رسول الله؟ قال الشرك بالله والسحر وقتل النفس التي حرم الله إلا بالحق وأكل الربا وأكل مال اليتيم والتولي يوم الزحف وقذف المحسنات الغافلات المؤمنات. وقال صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وسلم لعن الله آكل الربا وموكله. رواه مسلم والترمذي فزاد وشاهديه وكاتبه وإسناده صحيح. وقال عليه الصلاة والسلام آكل الربا وموكله وكاتبه إذا علموا ذلك ملعونون على لسان محمد يوم القيامة. أخرجه النسائي. He says here, this sixth or the seventh major sin, he says aklu riba, eating from riba. And regardless whether a person eats from it, gives it as food, buys with it, trades with it, invests in it, lives off of it, whatever the case may be, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made it prohibited. And the reason why the term akil, eating, is used is because eating is one of the most basic, simple ways of benefiting from a thing. Eating is one of the most basic and simple ways of benefiting from a thing. As the Prophet ﷺ tells us, إِنَّ اللَّهَ إِذَا حَرَّمَ عَلَى قَوْمٍ شَيْئًا حَرَّمَ عَلَيْهِمْ ثَمَنَهُ. Okay, he says, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes something haram upon a people, something unlawful for them to eat, as it may state in other narrations, he also makes it unlawful upon them the thaman, the profit from that haram product. From that what? Haram product. Everybody understand this? So he said al-aklu haram or aklu mal al-haram. Okay, eating from unlawful wealth that is impure, illegitimate Islamically, regardless whether you eat from it or not. You can live in a house, you can get a car, you can take a vacation on it. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His Rasul oftentimes they say akil. إِنَّ الَّذِينَ يَأْكُلُونَ أَمْوَالَ الْيَتَامَ. Allah says those who eat the wealth of the orphans ظُلْمًا إِنَّمَا يَأْكُلُونَ فِي بُطُونِهِمْ نَارًا. They're only eating fire in their bellies. They're only stuffing fire into their stomachs. So whether you eat from the orphan's wealth, whether you sell it, whether you do this, whether you do that, whether you burn it, whether you lose it, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He said, akil, eating. Because eating is the most general way of benefiting from a thing. And you say, I'm eating good. When a person is making money, I'm living good, I'm sleeping good, my bathtub, my shower, my slippers, my robe. But I say what? I'm eating good, I'm eating now. And He's doing much more than just eating. But eating is the most general, simple way of benefiting from wealth. So that's why it's mentioned akil, eating riba. So no one can say, well, I don't eat from the riba, so it's not haram. Allah the Exalted, He says, O you who believe, ittaqullah. He says, fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَذَرُوا مَا بَقِيَ مِنِ الرِّبَا إِن كُنتُم مُؤْمِنِينَ. Throw away, leave off what remains of riba if you're truly believers. فَإِن لَمْ تَفْعَلُوا, and if you don't do so, فَأْذَنُوا بِحَرْبٍ مِّنَ اللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ, then you should know that a state of war exists between you and Allah and His Messenger. They have waged war against you. To the end of the ayah from Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 278 to 279. Allah the Exalted, He also says, O you who believe, or He says here, الَّذِينَ يَأْكُلُونَ الرِّبَا, those who eat riba, لا يقومون إلا كما يقوم الذي يتخبطه الشيطان من المس. He says they won't stand up. They will not stand up. And it says in the interpretation of this ayah, يعني يوم القيامة, except in a manner that the one who's possessed by a demon stands. One who's taken over and been possessed by a shaitan, as he stands up and as he gets up. In other words, this is how he's going to be resurrected in this awful, evil way, this terrible, formidable manner. And this proves a severe threat, to the point in which Allah Azza wa Jalla says, وَمَنْ عَادَ, and those who get a admonition from their Lord, but they then go back to riba, after it's clear to them that Allah hates it and that it's unlawful, and they go back to it again and they continue to eat it, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, then they are the people of the fire, and they will dwell therein forever. وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ. He says, فَهَذَا وَعِيدٌ عَظِيمٌ. He says, this is a horrible threat. This is something very serious that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions regarding those who eat from riba, and those who go back to riba after the maw'idah, after the admonishment and the exhortation comes to them. فَلَا حَوْلَ وَلَا قُوَّةَ إِلَّا بِاللَّهِ الْعَلِيِّ الْعَظِيمِ. He then quotes the Prophet ﷺ as saying, avoid the 7 destructive things. The companions asked, and they are what? O Messenger of Allah. He said, first and foremost, is shirk with Allah. Then sihr, sorcery, murder. And he says, وَأَكْلُ الرِّبَا, eating from riba. وَأَكْلُ مَالِ الْيَتِيمِ, eating from the wealth of the orphans, يعني unjustly. Running from the battlefield and accusing chaste, believing women of that which they have no idea and no clue of. And we know that the hadith is in Bukhari, a Muslim, as we've mentioned several times. He then says, and the Prophet ﷺ also says, Allah curses those who eat riba and those who give it as food as well. Those who eat it themselves and those who serve it to others. And this hadith is collected by Muslim, At-Tirmidhi as well, who has a longer edition that states, وَشَاهِدَيْهِ, and the 2 witnesses of riba, وَكَاتِبَهُ, and those who write it down, and those who record it, the scribes of riba, the secretary of riba, the teller of riba, he who writes it down, who records it, this is your transaction, this is what you get, this is what you owe, etc. He says that they're all cursed. And he says, well, it's not the sahih. And the chain of narration of this hadith is authentic. You know, this hadith is the hadith of Ibn Mas'ud, according here to the Muhaqqiq. He then says, and the Prophet ﷺ also says, those who eat riba, those who give it as food, those who write it down, he says, once they know what they're doing, mal'unun, they're cursed upon the tongue of Muhammad, yawm al-qiyamah. And that hadith is connected by Imam al-Nasa'i, rahimahullah ta'ala. So that's the end of the adillah, the proofs and evidences that he mentioned regarding that 7th major sin. The types of riba, the ins and outs of riba, when you can trade a thing with a thing, when you can pay someone some wealth back, repay your debt and give them extra. The details of riba are not explained here in this lesson. Those are explained in the lesson of fiqh, in a fiqh lesson. The ahkam of buying and the ahkam of selling. The ahkam of riba. Everybody understand this? What's important for us to understand is that it's a major sin from the greatest sins. So, if we know this, then it has to set the tone of how we proceed dealing with riba, with regards to learning about it, with regards to avoiding it and staying away from it, and figuring out what is riba and what isn't riba. And it's very important for the Muslims to use their minds and figuring out lawful, legitimate alternatives to riba. With regards to buying a house, with regards to selling a house, with regards to buying a car, selling a car, having a business, etc., etc. And it's impossible for a person to take a sin like this, so grave, so easily, so just to scorn it and look down upon it like it's nothing, it's no big deal, it's difference of opinion. America, okay. Something so grave, regardless of the detailed legislation. Everybody understand this? The detailed legislation. You're living in America, insurance, taxes, this, that, but just the concept of how can you walk lightly and easily. If you see the sign on the side of the road, you say you're walking in what? Or you're driving, deer. There are deer in this area. And it's nighttime. What do you want to do? You're going to put on your seatbelt. You're going to make sure your lights are bright enough. You want to pay attention. You want to drive carefully. You're not going to drive too slowly. Or too slow. You're not going to go too fast. But you want to make sure that you're doing what you're supposed to do, because a deer could jump out any second. And that deer crashing into your car could mean the end of your life, ruining your car. So you're not going to just drive with one hand laying back, sitting back, like you drive from one red light to the next. In a slow school zone, it's a difference. Because it's very, very dangerous. Regardless of the deer, regardless of your car, regardless of kada. With the general concept of you're going to be extra what? Careful, extra cautious. Because it's very dangerous. So it's very sad that many of us take riba so lightly, so simple, so easy. We just look down upon it and we scorn it as if it's just a small, tiny sin. Regardless of the details of what? The rulings of riba. That's a different issue in itself. Wallahu ta'ala alam.